The house was too quiet, save for Lila's giggles drifting from her bedroom. I paused at the stove, stirring spaghetti sauce, and smiled. At 6, Lila's imagination was a wild thing. Her latest creation, Mr. Hollow, had become her constant companion. She'd chatter to him for hours, her voice bright like he was real. I figured it was just a phase. Kids make up friends, right? But tonight, her laughter stopped abruptly. I heard her whisper, sharp and urgent. "No, Mr. Hollow, don't say that!" My gut twisted. Wiping my hands, I climbed the stairs, the old wood creaking underfoot. "Lila, you okay, sweetheart?" I knocked softly, pushing her door open. She sat cross-legged on her rug, surrounded by crayons, her dark curls spilling over her face. She looked up, eyes wide, like I'd caught her stealing cookies. "Mr. Hollow was telling stories again," she said, voice small. I crouched beside her, forcing a grin. "What kind of stories?" She hesitated, clutching a red crayon. "He said, you did something bad, a long time ago." My heart stuttered. "Bad? Like what?" I kept my tone light, but my palms were sweating. Lila's eyes flicked to the empty corner of the room. "He said you hurt someone, and you hid it." The air felt thick, like I couldn't breathe right. 10 years ago, I'd made a mistake, a terrible one. A bar fight gone wrong, a man left bleeding in an alley. I'd run, never spoke of it, never got caught. No one knew, not my ex, not my coworkers, not a soul. I'd buried it deep, locked it away with the guilt that gnawed at me every night. "Lila," I said, voice steady as I could manage. "Mr. Hollow's just pretend. He doesn't know anything." She shook her head, insistent. "He does. He knows about the man in the blue jacket, the one you hit." My blood ran cold. The guy in the alley, he'd worn a blue jacket. I could still see it, crumpled on the pavement. How could she know that? I grabbed her shoulders, gentle but firm. "Did someone tell you this? At school? On TV?" "No!" She squirmed, eyes filling with tears. "Mr. Hollow told me. He sees everything." I let go, my hands shaking. "Okay, honey, let's forget Mr. Hollow for now. Dinner's ready." I stood, my legs like jelly, and led her downstairs. But as she ate, her eyes kept darting to the corner of the kitchen, like something was there. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the weight of that night 10 years ago crushing me. I'd never told anyone, not a therapist, not a priest, nobody. Lila couldn't have overheard it. So how? Was she picking up on my guilt somehow? Kids are intuitive, but this was impossible. The next day, it got worse. I was working from home, answering emails, when Lila's voice floated from the living room. "Mr. Hollow says you have to tell Daddy, or I'll go away." I dropped my coffee mug, the crash loud in the silence. I rushed in. Lila was on the couch, her stuffed bunny in her lap, staring at nothing. "What did you say?" I asked, my voice hoarse. She looked at me, her face pale. "Mr. Hollow says if you don't tell what you did, he'll take me to his place, where it's dark, forever." Rage and fear surged through me. "Lila, stop it. There's no Mr. Hollow. You're scaring me." Her lip trembled. "He's real, Daddy. He's right there." She pointed to the empty armchair across the room. I stared at the chair, half expecting to see something, a shadow, a shape. Nothing, just faded upholstery. But the room felt wrong, like the air was heavier. "Lila," I said, kneeling in front of her, "you don't have to be afraid. I'm here. No one's taking you anywhere." But she shook her head, tears spilling. "He says you're lying. He says you're bad." That night, I tore the house apart. I checked every corner, every closet, looking for cameras, microphones, anything that could explain this. Maybe someone was messing with us, an old enemy, someone who knew my secret. But the house was clean. No bugs, no wires, just Lila's drawings on the fridge, one of them a stick figure with hollow eyes labeled Mr. H. I called my sister, a child psychologist, and told her everything, minus the part about my past. Imaginary friends don't usually threaten kids, she said, her voice tight. Lila might be processing something traumatic. Has anything happened? At school? With friends? No, I said, my throat dry. She's fine. It's just, this Mr. Hollow thing. Talk to her, she urged, and maybe get her to a therapist, just to be safe. I hung up, my mind racing. A therapist might dig too deep, might get Lila talking about my bad thing. I couldn't risk it, but I couldn't ignore this either. That night, I sat Lila down. Sweetheart, tell me about Mr. Hollow. What does he look like? She fidgeted, twisting her bunny's ear. He's tall and empty, like a shadow with no face. He says he knows you from before. Before? My voice cracked. When you were bad, she whispered. He was there. Chill ran down my spine. I saw that alley again. The man's blood on my knuckles, the blue jacket, the darkness swallowing me as I ran. Was something watching me then? Something that followed me all these years? Lila, I said, my voice barely audible. Tell Mr. Hollow I'll fix it. I'll tell. Her eyes widened. You will? Yeah. I swallowed hard. But you have to promise me you'll tell him to leave you alone. She nodded, solemn. Okay, Daddy. I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table, a bottle of whiskey in front of me, untouched. Confessing meant prison, losing Lila, destroying everything. But if I didn't, would this thing, this Mr. Hollow, take her? Was it even real, or was I losing my mind? The next morning, Lila ran downstairs, beaming. Mr. Hollow's gone, Daddy. He said you're gonna make it right, so he left. Relief flooded me, but it was short-lived. I looked at her, my little girl, and knew I couldn't run anymore. Not from her, not from whatever this was. That afternoon, I drove to the police station. My hands shook as I walked inside. Lila's drawing of Mr. Hollow crumpled in my pocket. I need to talk to someone, I told the desk officer, about something I did 10 years ago. As I spoke, the weight lifted, just a fraction. But in the back of my mind, I still saw that empty armchair, and I wondered if Mr. Hollow was really gone, or if he was waiting, watching, for the next secret I'd try to bury.